Oh, the nostalgia feeling when it comes to looking at that famous Nintendo spinning around, and then, well, that's just part of my nostalgia feeling. Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Piglet here from the likes of the Moxie Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll present to you the next installment of our Mario Kart retrospective Let's Plays. This time around, we are jumping onto the Nintendo 64. Yes, we're about to be doing a brand new Let's Play, and that is Mario Kart 64 came out on what else? Nintendo 64. Now this game came out in 1997 if I recall correctly, from every regions or something, but either way though, this is the second installment of the Mario Kart series after all, and this time around, rather than taking place in the forms of a 2D landscapes, instead, that it obviously takes place in revolutionary 3D. So either way, let's get this thing jump right in, shall we? So either way though, let's go ahead and press start right here. Now obviously the version I'm going to be playing through is of course the Wii's Virtual Console re-release, which you sadly can't get this on the actual Nintendo Wii, but luckily you can able to get this on the Wii U. But either way though, good luck for trying to obtain the original copy of the game, because it does manage to get its ridiculously pricey when it comes to likely if you want to obtain the complete box copy, or even especially noticeable with the original cartridge on its own. So either way, as you can see on screen, we have ourselves the usual Mario Grand Prix and the time trials, as well as versus and as well as battle modes, but only accessibility in multiplayer aspect. However though, just like it informs of our Let's Play of Super Mario Kart, that recently Mickey Mouse already finished that Let's Play ever since the very beginning of the year. For this particular main focus of this Let's Play is that, much like in Super Mario Kart, I'm going to be focusing on Mario GP, in this case Mario Grand Prix, in the, you know, if you ever played the Japanese version or something. So anyways, for this particular Let's Play system in this game, I'm going to be focusing on something quite differently, for those of you probably wondering. I'm going to be focusing on 2 cups on 50cc, 2 cups in 100cc, 2 cups in 150cc, and another 2 by able to actually just unlock another difficulty. Because yes, unlike Super Mario Kart, you start the game off within 50cc and 100cc. In this game this time around, as well as Super Circuit and even Mario Kart Double Dash, if you will, you can able to now find the access to three of those classes, which are 50cc, 100cc, and 150cc. So either way, let's get into the character roster then. So from the start, you still got yourselves the usual 8 playable characters, but there's something else different about this compared to Super Mario Kart. You do realize that we still got ourselves Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, and Bowser of all things. But Koopa Troopa and Donkey Kong Jr. are not playable in this game, because instead we got replaced by Wario and Donkey Kong of all things. So even then, it seems pretty interesting enough as it goes. And obviously, much like in Super Mario Kart Let's Play, I'm going to be showing you guys every single characters on this game of us too. So either way, let's get to it to select Toad to begin with. And as you can see, we actually come across into ourselves 4 of those cups once again, except this time we can now actually access to the special cup on 50cc, but then again, no, we're not going to go for that 50cc, because I'm saving this up until, you know, 100cc. And in fact, the special cup was actually unlocked from the start for this time around though, as opposed to in Super Mario Kart, that in order to actually unlock that cup is the fact that we need to go for 100cc or 150cc, or wait, 150cc was actually the unlockable class, isn't it, in Super Mario Kart. So obviously, as you can see on these cups, as you can see right there, we still got the Mushroom Cup, the Flower Cup, and the Star Cup, and as I mentioned this before, the Special Cup itself. And as you can see, this time around, rather than having 5 tracks in one cup, instead we're actually going on to have ourselves 4 tracks. So either way though, yeah, let's get this thing to it while going through the first cup in this entire game, which is of course the Mushroom Cup. And yeah, I managed to play this on my own time on the Virtual Console version, so I can able to get myself a little bit more practice, especially noticeable how the fact that, well, we'll talk more about it whenever we get onto the actual thing itself. So yeah, if you ever played Super Mario Kart before, and especially noticeable in the future games, you know exactly how it sounds. Basically, it's kind of like Super Mario Kart, except it's in 3D, rather than just having ourselves some flat track layouts and everything like that. Obviously, the items are back, such as, for instance, the mushrooms and some shells, mainly the green and red shells potentially. Banana peels are back, as well as the forms of, well, what else? Some usual items, as we all know. However, the biggest difference is in the forms of Super Mario Kart compared to the forms of how it does in this game and the future games and onwards is that, well, we actually come across into a new items introduced, such as, for instance, we might be able to actually get ourselves our usually triple shells as far as I'm aware, although I'll get into more details onto that whenever we get on to the actual items themselves, because as you can see on screen, we're actually going to be getting on to the first track in this game, which appears to be by the forms of Luigi Raceway, which, by the way, if you ever played Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS, this track will make its return in Mario Kart 7 in the forms of in the Shell Cup. So even then, I just want to classify that right away if you want to watch our Let's Play of Mario Kart 7 back in 2018, but I'm sure most people already know about that. And even then though, for the majority of the tracks in Mushroom Cup in this game, by the way, that the majority of the tracks will make a comeback on Mario Kart 7 except Moo Moo Farm, because we'll get to that whenever we get onto that track. So, and as you can see, this is one of the first new items introduced, including the fake item box, which actually becomes a disguise as in the regular item box, but if you dare touch it though, then you weren't able to actually take a damage. So, another new item introduced is, of course, the whole bunch of, well, banana peels, which basically, for whatever reason, if you try to pull it out, I've no idea what that, how could I describe this, but apparently this actually gives me a little bit of speed or something. I don't know, it has been donkeys years since I actually played this game for quite some years now, because I'm pretty much used to with the future Mario Kart games, including the most recent Mario Kart game at the moment is Mario Kart Tour. So either way, just want to classify that. There's the triple green shells here, so even then, as you can see on the triple green shells, you can able to actually have these green shells surrounding with you. Think of like a shield, for instance, so even then, it will be very useful if you really want to able to not get hit by those any kinds of items or anything like that. So, yeah, something's worth mentioning. Let's just go ahead and toss the fake item box. Despite Bowser and Luigi almost did seem to catch up to me most of the time. Something's worth mentioning, by the way, is the fact that much like in Super Mario Kart sometimes, this game does have itself a bit of an AI program department where it comes to more accurately always seem to catch up to you at one point or another. I know it seems a little bit obvious for that specific common problem, but either way though, it gets immediately apparent whenever we get onto 150cc as well as, well, the unlockable class that I'll discuss more about it until later. So, the next track we have is the Moo Moo Farm, and this track will make its return in Mario Kart DS, also in the forms of in the Shell Cup as well. So either way though, I can't even believe there has been so long since I actually managed to experiencing this version of Moo Moo Farm, and obviously we need to dodge those Monty Moles coming out of the ground, by the way, so just in case you don't get hit by them. So yeah, as far as using the C buttons, as far as I'm aware, all it does is just basically just changes sometimes camera views, as well as change the interface, such as the actual gas meter, as well as the actual map, or a different version of the map. But I'm just gonna stuck with this particular formation, as you can see right here. I'm sorry for the actual lack of commentary for this point, guys, apart from the fact that, well, there's not much else I can really say, apart from the fact that I'm actually very glad to be able to actually jump into this game. So either way though, obviously if you couldn't tell already, is the fact that since that, as you guys already grow up with the forms of the English version of Mario Kart 64, you know, with the actual, the Toad's voice, as well as Luigi's voice, and especially noticeable with Princess Peach's voice, and especially noticeable with Wario's voice here and there as well. If you ever guys play the Japanese version, by the way, the noticeable differences between the English version and the Japanese release of the game is the fact that Luigi, Peach, and Wario, and I think Toad as well, they managed to able to got themselves some different dialogue, or in this case some different voice clips. So either way though, something's worth mentioning, and of course they are able to actually bring most of these voice clips into specifically in Mario Party and Mario Party 2 essentially. So even then though, that's why we have to point that out right away. So there's not much else I can say about Moo Moo Farm. It's just a very simple, easy, self-explanatory course, if you can clearly tell. And by the way, differently from Super Mario Kart, especially because of how the fact that, as you can see, we're actually going to be bracing for those racetracks a little bit more quicker this time around, is that we're now going to be going through 3 laps, which becomes super stable in the future Mario Kart games, like, you know, Super Circuit, as well as Double Dash, and Mario Kart DS, Wii, 7, and especially noticeable for Mario Kart 8/8 Deluxe. So, although compared to Mario Kart Tour, however, though, it only gets us like 2 laps. So, well, some tracks are, but only one exception is, of course, the 3DS Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 7. Only features like 3 laps in Mario Kart Tour. So, anyway. Speaking of Mario Kart Tour, actually, here we go with the next track in Mushroom Cup we have is Koopa Troopa Beach. Not only does this track we're able to bring back in the forms of Mario Kart 7 in, I would say in Banana Cup, but also make its return in Mario Kart Tour. So even then though, something's worth mentioning by the way, because if you're a Mario Kart fan such as myself, then you know exactly what I'm talking about right here. So either way though, I can't even believe that it's been such a long time since I actually used to this particular version of Koopa Troopa Beach, because I keep on getting used to with Mario Kart 7's version of this stage, as well as, you know, recently Mario Kart Tour version here and there as well, because there was actually a huge giant ramps you can able to take, which I probably not recommend you do that, unless if there's, I forgot about that. That plum tree just managed to make me spin out on this particular version of Koopa Troopa Beach. I totally forgot about that. Luckily for me, I managed to grab myself my triple red shell, so I can able to, well, not only just try to knock Luigi out, but also Bowser out. So either way, everything else will be expected. And by the way, if you ever played a Japanese version of Mario Kart 64, Bowser's name will be known as Koopa, because it's pretty obvious, because that's what the Japanese name for Bowser himself, so... why do I just slip up on that? Oh, wait a minute, someone else just seems to toss the actual banana peel in front of me. Jeez, I totally forgot about that solution here. Okay, a few things I want to explain about for this point today is the fact that today's day is the forms of the 4th of April today in 2020. Not much else has been going on, sadly, apart from the fact that I will discuss more about some more information where it comes to the forms of likely if it's a possibility rumors until when it gets to tomorrow, because yes, this particular Let's Play is once again going to be focusing on weekends department, just like in the forms of how it does it on Mario Kart. Well, usually it's Super Mario Kart essentially. So either way though, the only thing I'm probably not going to show off at this point for this Let's Play, unfortunately, and that was the fact that once again I'm probably not going to show off battle mode in this particular Let's Play, because much like Super Mario Kart, it only requires multiplayer in order to able to actually just to do that, which can be the same applies for Mario Kart Super Circuit, as well as you know, Mario Kart Double Dash, which is kind of sad, just because I would love to show you guys about the fact that how the actual the battle tracks usually handles with, but unfortunately that's not the case, sadly. So, oh well. Beggars cells can't be choosers, I suppose. But anyways, let's go ahead and just keep our shells with us, so just in case if we're about to be protecting ourselves. And yeah, there's also a whole bunch of ramps here and there too, so that you can able to get some item boxes here and there. The only missing feature in this game though, as far as I've noticed something correctly, is the fact that we don't have to collect those coins until whenever we get onto Mario Kart Super Circuit, on the other hand, then we can at least manage to able to grab those coins again. So either way, yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. Okay, as for the point system, it's pretty much unchanged compared to the forms of how it does it on Super Mario Kart, except there isn't any extra life system this time around, which we'll talk more about it until whenever we get on to the final track in the Mushroom Cup, and that is Kalimari Desert. And this track will also make its return until in not only Mario Kart 7 on the Leaf Cup, but also Mario Kart Tour. So even then though, oh man, I have so many nostalgic memories with this track. Not only just because it's pretty a sight to behold, but it's also that back in the day, I keep on messing around, specifically in the time trials mode. I always keep on messing around with the actual, you know, the actual train track itself. Because yes, that's what the main aspect of the stage, as you can see right there. When you see the train coming by, be sure to stop on that specifically on the train crossing. Now, once that's been bypassed, then, well, that's just your typical traditional track you can able to drive through. So even then though, pretty swell, and you know, you get the idea for that solution here, so. And yeah, as I said this before, this brings me so many memories back in when I was a kid. I think this is actually the first ever Mario Kart game I've ever played, along with Mario Kart Double Dash, because I don't seem to have the Super Nintendo back in the day, especially noticeable with Mario Kart Super Circuit. It wasn't until in 2007, if I recall, that I finally managed to get my hands on Mario Kart Super Circuit on the GBA. But either way though, excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, folks, because I've almost seemed to have my bad cough. But don't worry, I'm still lived, don't worry. But I digress. So anyways, let's go ahead and just hold that banana peel as it is. And by the way, because the reason why I'm also playing this on the Nintendo Wii's Virtual Console version, by the way, is because, well, just trying to make the actual quality a little bit more of improvement. Well, the only game exception I'm probably not going to go through with the Wii's Virtual Console version of certain N64 games, which there are, obviously Super Smash Bros. Despite with the best way of playing that game on the Wii's Virtual Console re-release is, of course, the actual GameCube controller, but I'm actually going to be going for nostalgia quality standpoints, along with Mario Party 2, and also because of that, I've heard from several emulation issues, such as like the music doesn't match in the well, let's just say in Super Smash Bros. Intro, that's usually in the original game, and also that in Mario Party 2 does have some sound emulation issues in the oh no, I just slipped on a banana by accident. Hoping that Luigi. But at least luckily Luigi did manage to slip onto his banana peel, as you can see. So yeah, as I mentioned this before already, this game doesn't have the extra life system this time around, although in order to actually still progress to the actual Grand Prix themselves, you still need to— What the hell? Oh, Bowser. How dare you? Or even Luigi? I don't know. It's so hard to tell. But regardless of such, we still got ourselves the red shells to begin with. But this is also the first ever Mario Kart game to feature the most devastating item in the whole game, which is of course the blue spiny shell, which becomes incredibly annoying. Well, it's not so that annoying in this game, but until when it gets to a point in Mario Kart Double Dash and even Mario Kart DS and beyond, it gets a lot more aggressive when it comes to likely having blue shells ownage, so. But I digress. So we did manage to dominate it through every single track in Mushroom Cup, and as you can see, flawless run through, as you can see. And then once you're done with all 4 tracks in one cup, then obviously it'll take us to the award ceremony. But where to exactly? I think I've recognized this particular location before. That appears to be Princess Peach's castle from what else? Super Mario 64. Which is pretty cool though, and unfortunately, if you couldn't tell for this actual game itself has been running on, unfortunately this is in 50Hz mode instead of the 60Hz mode, so I was expecting if everything else gets a little bit more faster, but unfortunately though we have to stuck with it. So, but when we get to Super Circuit as well as Double Dash, I'm hoping anyway, then we should probably able to actually hook it up into 60Hz mode at least. So, whilst unlike in any other Mario Kart games like Mario Kart Wii or anything like that, it managed to run just fine, even on 60Hz mode in general. And once again, much like in Super Mario Kart, the trophy pops out of the actual inflatable cheap right here. And rather than just having the actual champagne bottles, unlike the forms of how it does it on Super Mario Kart, instead we just stay on the carts, basically. So here's the first trophy in Mario Kart 64, and, well, congratulations to Toad, in this case, my main man. But I digress. So I guess we should probably end things off at this point right there, so join me tomorrow for more of Let's Play of Mario Kart 64. It's the fact that we're going to be moving on to the next cup in this game, in Flower Cup in 50cc. So see you guys tomorrow. Later, fellas.